It is no secret that as parents we play a significant role in shaping the youth sports experience of our children. This presentation will focus on what we can do as parents to ensure that the sport experience is a positive one for not only our own children, but for everyone involved in the sport in any role. Understanding the impact that our actions and behavior have on our children and their teammates, coaches, officials, and other parents will help us recognize how we can positively impact the sport environment. We know that from a young age, children are predisposed to both seek the approval of and mimic the behavior of their parents. The attitude with which you approach a sport, your actions while watching a sport, and the conversations you have with and in the presence of your child about sport will influence their own attitudes, actions, and conversations. With that in mind, one of the most important roles we have as parents when it comes to improving our child's experience is to be a good role model for what it means to be involved in and be around the sport. Let's take a minute and think about the reasons that a child would want to get involved in a sport. These reasons could include, but are not limited to have fun, to hang out with friends or to meet new friends, to do something they are good at, or to improve and learn new skills. Unfortunately, the motivation of parents in registering a child for a sport do not always align with the motivations of the athlete. Parents can sometimes put too much emphasis on winning, promote specialization at a young age, or worry too much about comparing their child to other athletes. It is a good idea to have a conversation with your child about why they participate and what it is they enjoy about the sport. This can help to drive the conversations we have with young athletes about the sports in which they participate. The long-term athlete development model is a model from Canadian Sport for Life that identifies stages of training and competition based on the age of the athletes participating. This model promotes long-term participation in sport while also providing a pathway for potential participation in elite, national, or international competition. On the following slides, you will see a description of each level of the LTAD, along with ideas of what parents can do to help their athlete in his or her development at each stage. Take a moment to read through the stages and recommendations on your own. Feel free to skip to and pay particular attention to the stage that your young athlete is currently in or approaching. We will now focus on parents' interactions with officials. We are nearing a crisis point when it comes to officiating in our province and our country as a whole. The number of games being played in most sports is increasing continually. Sports are now being played year-round with no off-season, and the number of officials that we have is not growing at a rate that can keep up with demand. It is becoming harder than ever to recruit and retain young officials, and the reality is that games cannot be played without them. The number one cause cited for the decline in the number of officials available is the lack of respect shown to officials through the behavior of players, coaches, family members, and fans. As a parent and spectator, there are a few ways that you can help promote a positive experience for officials. Number one, you can set a good example for your son or daughter as to what positive interactions with an official look like. When it comes to dealing with officials, young athletes are going to take their cue from the adults involved in the game. This includes coaches and parents watching as spectators. If parents are constantly yelling, criticizing, or demeaning officials and their calls, players will do the same. If parents are respectful towards officials, recognizing that they are learning the game the same way the athletes are, and are doing their best to do a good job, athletes will tend to show the same level of respect. Recognize that just like athletes, officials are not perfect. They will make mistakes, they will get calls wrong, and there will be times or situations during the game when it feels like things are not going your way. Remember that the majority of referees are in the gym because they love the game, they want to stay involved, and they are genuinely trying to do the best job they can to be fair to both teams. Number two is to call out and address inappropriate behavior when you see it or become aware of it. While you may do your best to model respectful interactions with officials, not all parents will. Some parents and spectators feel that being yelled at or criticized is part of the job of an official. They will say things to young referees that they wouldn't say to someone, especially a young person, working in any other line of work. As parents who want to promote a positive sport environment, part of our responsibility is to let these parents know that that behavior is not acceptable. Sometimes all it takes is one person to speak up for others to gain courage to do the same. If you see or hear anything that makes you uncomfortable, addressing it yourself or making the appropriate people aware of it can go a long way towards improving the sport experience for all involved. Finally, thank an official for being there. In general, the proper amount of communication between a parent and an official during an event is no communication. Having said that, taking the time after the game to genuinely thank an official for being there can help to improve their experience at the game. This does not need to be a commentary on the job they did or the quality of their officiating, but simply a thank you for being there. Finally, we will talk about interactions with coaches in youth sports. The vast majority of coaches in minor sports are volunteering their time to be there. They give up their evenings and weekends, plan practices, care for players, create schedules, and communicate with parents, most often with little or no financial support or payment. Like with athletes and officials, our behavior as parents can ensure that coaches have a positive experience in youth sport and continue to coach year after year. Again, there are a few things that you as a parent can do to make the youth basketball experience a positive one for coaches. First, be aware of and respect the roles that each party has during games and practices. The coach's job is to work with athletes and help make them better. Your job as a parent is to be there to support and cheer on your child. Try to avoid coaching from the sidelines or stands during games and practices. Research has shown that spectator coaching from the sidelines can negatively influence both enjoyment and performance for athletes. As a parent, enjoy the game and remember that your job is to support, not coach. Second, remember the 24-hour rule. Sports and competition can be intense and emotional experiences for many participants. This is not limited to athletes. It can also include parents, coaches, or officials. The 24-hour rule encourages parents to wait 24 hours following a competition before addressing playing time, performance, or coaching decisions with a coach. This 24-hour rule helps to avoid emotional reactions and conversations and allows parents and coaches to have rational conversations after a period of reflection. When it is time to communicate, remember that coaches are doing their best to do what is right for all members of the team. Finally, parents showing support for the coach, not only in public, but also in private conversations with your athlete, can help in building respect for the coach. Avoid conversations with your child or other parents that undermine coaches, their decisions, or their authority. If there is something that you feel needs to be addressed, address it through proper channels or a conversation with the coach instead of allowing complaining behind the coach's back to become the norm. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Let's all do our best to make this a great year for everyone involved in basketball in New Brunswick.